Good evening. My name is Shannon Coleman, and I chose Does Everyone Need Therapy? And let me start out by saying I think therapy is for everyone if they choose to seek therapy. This topic was very interesting. I really did enjoy the video that the young lady did. I made some mental notes myself, and the video actually helped me. I will say that the video it helped me. And the assignment, I was supposed to have a partner, and I did view the video with someone, but our schedules just absolutely could not connect. We discussed the video, and they had some points and some things that they enjoyed about the video and some things that they shared, but we could not connect. So I'm gonna have to fly solo on this. I wrote down some things throughout the video, and I'll just run through those and just breeze through what I saw in the video. Therapy is very much centered around whatever culture you are. I was surprised in the video when the Latina woman was stating that it's kind of frowned upon in her culture, and it's always been frowned upon in the black culture. I grew up thinking, when we say mental health, back in the day, people would just say that you were crazy. And mental health is not that you're just crazy. Mental health just means that you have a challenge in certain areas, or you're going through something at a period of time in your life. But the stigma, in my opinion, of mental health back in the day was somebody that was crazy, which is absolutely not the truth. And throughout the video, I saw that the stats were overwhelmingly disturbed and disturbing. The stats were disturbing, of people that don't seek therapy or don't think therapy is for them, or that they need therapy, and the stigma around therapy. And I also saw in the stats that resources are a big issue in the world of mental health. Most people can't afford therapy. And there are also different types of therapy. And they even talked about in the video how some therapy offices choose not to use insurance in order to make it affordable for people to seek therapy. And time is a big factor also in therapy. I myself would like to have some therapy sessions. My job actually offers employee assistance, an employee assistance program, and where you can go and have some therapy. But for me, time is a factor. Time is a factor. And again, there's a thing that they mentioned in this video called protest psychosis. That was a new term for me, and I'm going to do a little bit more research on it. So I think I'm going to skip over that and go back to my notes. And again, the question is therapy for everyone? I think therapy is for everyone that would like to have therapy. And what we see today in the world is that your mental health is just as important as your physical health. I don't think people really realize that right now, or they don't know that your mental health is just as important as your physical health, and your mental health can affect your physical health. I don't know that we know that either. And, over since COVID, a lot of things have came forth that have been good regarding mental health. People really have realized, that their mental health is important and that their mental health needs attention. And I hear all the time people talking about healing and people talking about trauma. And at one point, it was such a common term. People were, getting to a point in life where we're realizing that mental health and therapy are good things. But I think people were taking it too far, that if you had an issue, that you had trauma, or if you had an issue that you're traumatized, everybody's healing. I'm somebody that I grew up with in a what I would call a normal childhood. I lived in a home with both of my parents. I had a sister. We didn't have any trauma, but when you hear, now there are people that have trauma, but I would say I didn't grow up with any trauma, so I don't have anything that I have to heal from. But I will say that there are issues that have came up in my life that just I needed some therapy, or I needed to be able to talk about it. But that certainly didn't mean that I was traumatized. The term healing is a real thing, and I think people say in the world of mental health that everybody has something that they're healing from. It doesn't have to be trauma, but it could be a past relationship. It could be it could be a numerous of things. But just a little trouble doesn't mean that you have a major thing that you have to heal from. And I will also say that, again, let's go back to resources. Throughout the video, they talked about resources and how the different cultures experience not having proper resources. And that is a really sad thing, that resources can lead to failing mental health. And the culture and race, all of those things are factors in the help you can get for your mental health. And there was a section in the video where the lady talked about how people were, I would say, diverse people, black and brown people, let me say it that way. Black and brown people needed mental health and were killed by the police because they didn't have access to mental health resources. And instead of the police being able to recognize that there were some mental health issues, these people end up unalived when all they had was some mental health issues. And that's really a sad thing, and that tugs at my heart. And I can't say that I know many people that have schizophrenia or bipolar disorder. I can't say that I really know anybody. I do know of a lady that I used to work with. Her son was a schizophrenic individual, and he was killed by the police. And it was a sad thing, but he was not on his meds. And in this particular instance, he would always go to this particular store, and the owner had tolerated him for years, and this particular time he was having an episode, and he was becoming violent, and the owner had to unalive him in order to protect himself. And turns out that he hadn't had his meds in several days. So, that was a sad story and an eye-opener towards mental health for me. And I can remember another time when I was walking down the hall at the hospital that I worked, and there was a man walking behind me, and he was walking behind me talking as if he were he was hearing voices in his head. And I could hear this, and the person in front of me could hear this. And we became alarmed, and we kind of band together that if he jumped one of us, we were going to take him down. I didn't even know the person that was in front of me, but we were clear in our understanding that he was having a mental health crisis at that time. But we had to protect ourselves. We were in a hospital, and we didn't have to act on our first instinct, but it was really very sad for me, and an eye-opener again, at the level of mental illness this person was experiencing. This a mental crisis, I should say, that this person was experiencing. And again, this video that I watched today was very, very enlightening. And they even showed the young lady riding a horse, and they admonished us to get out into nature. And those are true things. For me, a good mental health exercise is playing in the dirt, planting, being outside in the sun, feeling the heat, and playing in dirt. That is good mental health therapy for me. And in my mind, I am a good discerner of people and situations. I sometimes think I'm in the wrong profession. I probably should have went to school to be a therapist, because I give good advice, and because I can assess a situation, and of course there's a lot more to it than what I'm saying here, but mental health is an important thing to me, and I thrive on trying to make sure that my mental health is good. And I have always been a person that I don't like for stress and my name to be in the same sentence. And over the last few years, I would say since 2022, we've had some stressful things to happen in our lives that, where we had to look at, okay, what is your mental health? How are you functioning? How's your mental health functioning through these crises? We've had many crises. We've had some sickness, some serious illnesses in our family. I would say a time in our life when we found out that my parents had cancer on the same day. My mom and my dad. We found out that they both had cancer on the same day. They lived for 5 years with the cancer. We were caregivers. Being a caregiver is another level of I need mental health therapy and support. That's a totally different animal. Being a caregiver and needing mental health support. My parents died within 60 days of each other. My dad died that January the 14th, and my mom died March the 7th. That was a traumatic time. I wouldn't call it trauma. I would just call it a time when we needed to make sure that our mental health was being supported. yeah, and then from there, over the years, like I said, in the last 3 years, we've had some challenges. One of my nieces had ovarian cancer. We caught it at the first stage, but it was very mentally scary. It was very mentally draining. It was very mentally. We were scared. We were traumatized that she had that cancer, and then my sister had breast cancer. We were traumatized again. This is all less than 2 years. So we've had to make sure that our mental health was tended to, was supported. We are followers of Christ, so our faith got us, kept us through all of the experiences that we've had. We believe God all the way, all the way, all the time. So keeping our eyes fixed on God was one of the major things that we were able to support each other with. So again, mental health and therapy, I do believe that it is for everybody that would seek it, that can use it. It doesn't mean that you are crazy. Like we were growing up believing. Mental health is far from that. And I appreciated this assignment. I did the best that I could do with the assignment. Again, we are living in a fast-paced world right now. And self-care is very, very important. I consider self-care I consider self-care therapy. And I also believe that you should identify what good self-care is for you, because self-care for me is not going to the nail shop. It's not having a glass of wine. Right now, the season that I'm in, self-care is getting enough sleep, getting enough rest, and doing things that I want to do. Not I'm not in a season of visiting. I'm not in a season of going out to dinner or going to I do when I want to do. Self-care for me is doing what I want to do. I'll share an instance of just this past week. Someone, my family wanted to have a family game night that they had been planning. And then a minister friend of mine was hosting a women's conference that she needed me to attend. So we had a tornado the week before where we did not have electricity for 2 days. So that lost a week. That stressed us out. That stressed me out. That I needed some therapy behind all of that. We have 2 toddlers here, and going through no electricity with 2 toddlers was very stressful. But immediately that Monday, I started getting calls about, are you going to come to game night? Are you going to come to game night? Are you going to come to the women's conference? I'm sponsoring you for the women's conference. Can you come? 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 I was starting to feel overwhelmed. And I made the decision that I'm not going to the game night, the family game night, which was Friday night. The women's conference was Friday night and all day on Saturday. So had I made the decision I can't be in 2 places on Friday night. If I wanted to, I couldn't do it. But I made the decision for my self-care, my own peace of mind, my mental health, that I was not going to do either one. If I had done the family game night, it was going to be against my will. I didn't want to do it. Had I did the women's conference the next day, all day Saturday, that was going to be against my will. When was I going to have time for me to recover from the weekend where we had the tornado? I was already a week behind. So I felt very, very good about my decision to not attend either one of the events. And I put my own self-care, my own self first. That was a proud moment for me. I can't be everywhere for everybody. I made the decision to put myself first, put my mental health first. So in life right now, prioritizing my mental health is self-care for me. So I think that's my spill on it. I believe that that mental therapy is for everybody if they want it. If they seek it and they want it, self-care therapy is for everybody. I pray and I hope that people will take the time and they will think about resources and ways that they can seek help. So that is my spiel, and I can only share my testimony. That's all I can do, and hope somebody can glean from what I was able to share this evening. Thank you.